What's up, world? This is your guy, Guitar K, and today we're going to be talking about communication. We're going to be talking about learning to communicate, the art of communication. At the end of the day, communication is an art. It's a skill. It's a practice. Look, you become better at communication over time. You become better at communication when you want to be better at communicating. Look, but if you're one of them, lovely, bubbly people that think that you're never the problem, that only if the world would change and do exactly what you think they should do, that you don't need to change, you don't need to become better at your communicating skills, then hey, maybe this video is not for you. But if you're like me, and you actually do care about other people. You do care about other people's opinions. You care about other people's views. And sometimes you get into conversations and it gets twisted up and turned around and you get to debating and arguing and you're wondering figuring hey, how did I get here? This is not where I meant for this to go. You want to become a better communicator without it turning into something crazy, without it going to the left, without fighting, without arguing. You have to learn to become a better communicator. We have to learn to show empathy. We have to learn to, see the other person's point of view. We need to learn to step into their shoes, see it from their view, understand that it's no way that we're always right. We are not perfect. So we have to learn, we have to practice to become better communicators. Look, before we start, let's look at the definition of communication. It's funny how so many people, we claim that we know how to do something or we know what something is. But if you ask them, what is the definition of a word? They'll tell you what they think it means. We need to stop doing that, man. If everybody comes to a common ground of what something means, maybe we will be all better at, seeing eye to eye on certain things. I'm just saying. So the definition of communication is the imparting or exchanging of information or news. I see where we get messed up at is the exchanging part. So many people only want to give. They don't want to exchange. They don't want to hear what you have to say. Communication doesn't work that way, man. You have to have a genuine interest. You have to listen to understand. You have to seek to understand before being understood. Because if you're only listening to respond, you already got your mind made up. That's not good communicating, man. Look, you cause people to shut down when you only want them to see things from your point of view. In order to become a good speaker, you have to first understand what it is to sit in the audience. But look, man, check this out. First things first, look, like I said, this is for the people who want to communicate well. If you're one of them ones, like I said, that everything's already fine, you're already perfect, you never think that anything's your fault, whenever the argument starts, it's never your fault. Like I said, this might not be for you, man. But for those of us who realize that, conversations don't always go the way we want. And a lot of times it might be because of something that we said or something that we did. Maybe we are not good at listening. Maybe we need to learn how to communicate better. We have come to a revelation that we do care about the other person, that we do care about other people in this world. We stop being self-centered. We drop the ego. We drop the pride. So many people walk around talking about, I'm not a people person.
What?
That's crazy at the end of the day. You are people. You are a person. It's not that you're not a people person. That's an excuse. That's an excuse. At the end of the day, you don't want to do what it takes to become a person that's able to deal with people. What am I talking about? The same thing I'm always talking about, man. Practicing spiritual principles. Enveloping, grasping on to the fruits of the spirit. You don't want to practice humility. You don't want to practice patience, kindness, gentleness. All the things that you're going to need if you're going to involve yourself with people today. That's all you need to do. It's not a fact of you being a people person. You have to develop the skills that it takes to deal with people if you really truly care, if you really truly want to. But it's crazy because the same people who say that they're not people persons, soon as somebody got something for them or got some money for them or they think a girl is pretty or she thinks a guy is good looking, now they're a people person. Now they're all up in so-and-so's face. Now they're all up in this and that. It's not that you're not a people person. Like I said, it's you're being selfish. You're being self-centered. It's the ego. It's the pride. At the end of the day, it also comes from fear. When you deal with other people, you start to see things about yourself that you don't want to change. But at the end of the day, man, change is growth. Growth is leveling up. It's good for you. It's good to get uncomfortable. It causes you to grow. It makes you become a better person. Like I said, man, when you're practicing these fruits of the spirit that I keep talking about so much, it's because I have found that when you practice these things, it makes you a better person, man. Learning to communicate is key. I don't care at what level you're at right now. If you better your communication, you're going to better yourself. Communication makes you stronger in all areas, man. Like I said, we learn to listen. We learn, I don't care what you are. You could be a millionaire. But if you come into a room where everybody's not a millionaire, if you show a genuine interest in what these people got going on, man, it enriches your spirit. It makes you better. If you're always clinging on to that ego and pride and looking down your nose and thinking that you're the best person in the room all the time just because of what you got or just because of what you know, you're never going to grow. You're going to stay stuck at that certain level. And unfortunately, for anybody, anything, when you stay stuck, you start declining. You start deteriorating. Look, we are not made to stay stuck at a ceiling. We are made to grow every day. We are made to learn new things every day. We are made to learn and grow and make new connections. And you can't do that when you don't want to communicate. When you're trying to shut yourself off, talking about, I just don't like nobody. Are you sure? Or is it that nobody likes you? And you're not willing to do the things that it takes, open up your heart, open up your mind, learn to get along, man. Got to think about these things. Learn to avoid arguments. Stop arguing. Stop debating everything. Stop telling people that they're wrong. Are you wrong? Focus on what's wrong with you, not what's wrong with other people. Like I said, man, the best way to win an argument is to avoid it altogether. Learn how to help people get to the right way without just straight kicking them down, talking about you're wrong, you don't know what you're talking about. Help teach them. Each one teach one, man. Pay it forward. It's a good way of teaching people and helping people without always pushing everybody down just because you think you know more or just because you think that you're better. Like I said, learn to understand before being understood. It's reasons why people is going through things. You never know what nobody's going through. I remember we had to watch a video at work and it showed like little bubbles over each person. And this lady, she had just lost her son. This guy, his wife had just divorced him because she left him for a younger man. And this girl, she just had to have an abortion that she didn't want to get. Her parents forced her to have it. And like I said, this is the same thing that we go on every day. We walk and run through the world thinking that we only got problems and nobody else don't got problems. And we don't want to communicate. And we shutting up and we talking about, man, people crazy. The world is crazy. Look, you're people. You're the world. You're just as crazy as everybody else. And when you start to open up, you start to learn these things. We were made to fellowship. We were made to communicate, man. Look. Practice kindness, practice patience, practice gentleness, practice understanding. And when you start to see these things, you start to see that you're no better than nobody else. But like I always say, the great thing is that you're no worse. Look, man, we're put on this earth to fellowship, to communicate, to build together. It's billions of people on this planet. Look, man, it could always be better. It could always be worse. You're always heading into a storm, in the middle of a storm, or coming out one. And that goes for everybody on this planet. So if we all pull together, we all start lifting each other up and encouraging one another, this would be a lot better place to live. I'm telling you, communication is key. When you learn to communicate, you grow. You learn to tell people what you're not good at. Everybody want to tell people what they're good at. I could do this. I could do that. So what? What can't you do? What do you need help in? How can you strengthen yourself if you're always thinking you're the best person in the room? You need to find a new room. If you're the best and greatest of your friends, you need to find some new friends. Look, man, I'm talking about communicating. I'm talking about opening your heart, opening your mind, understanding that there's no way that you can know everything. And when you humble yourself, you practice humility, you will find out that you are a person and that you are a people. So at the end of the day, you are a people person. Get out here and meet people. Get out here and make new connections. I remember when I was a kid, No matter what neighborhood we went to, the adults made us go introduce ourselves to other children. You wasn't staying in the house cuffed up under the adults. You wasn't cuffed up under grown folks' business. So I don't care if we went to South Carolina and I'd never been there before. My grandma was like, go over there and get on that basketball court and introduce yourself to those kids and get out there and play. We were taught the art of communication. We knew how to introduce ourselves and meet people, even if we might have never seen these people again. For that day, we were friends and we was out there getting our hoop on and playing and learning, and we knew how to, foster fellowship and meet people, man. That is an important skill, and it's gone by the wayside. Look, man, I seen a kid at a Subway restaurant. I was behind him and his mother in line. This kid was taller than me, and I'm 6'2". I'm not the shortest guy. The girl was taking his order. He's so shy and embarrassed, he's not even talking to her. He's whispering in his mother's ear. Don't even know how to talk. The lady's like, you want a large soda? You want a large? Look, man, we have to learn to communicate. At the end of the day, if you don't know how to communicate, you don't know how to ask for what you want, you don't know how to get what you need, you're going to die. Lack of communication skills will keep you cut off, shut off from the world. And for all these people that's talking about you're not people person, look, man, you need to go dig a hole and get in it if you don't want to be a people person. And then why are you out here talking to us anyway? How do we know that you're not a people person? We shouldn't even know, because we should never hear your voice. You should never be close enough to know people for nobody to know that you're not a people person. Look, man, learn the art of communicating. Communication is key. It's a beautiful thing at the end of the day. That's why all this social media and all this and all that. No, I'm talking about communicating face to face. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with talking to people on social media and everything like that. But at the end of the day, nothing can replace natural, organic communication face to face. At the end of the day, shake a person's hand. Let a person know that we're here. Man, I don't know. I can't express how important of a topic this is. Hopefully, get out there and you'll understand what I'm saying. I don't know, man. I'm 48 years old. I'm old school, and I understand how important it is to communicate. So hopefully you got something out of this. At the end of the day, I'm talking to myself when I do these videos. I understand how important it is to learn the art of communication. This is your guy, Guitar K, man. I'm going to get out here and communicate with somebody today. I encourage you to do the same. Start today. Learn to open up your heart, open up your mind, receive new blessings. We're put on this planet with all of these people for a reason. It's not for you to just dig yourself a hole and stick your head in it like an ostrich. You're not an ostrich. You're a human being. Learn to communicate like one. This is your guy, Guitar K. Be more